minus square root of 3 times square root of 3. Dave? Negative 3. Not done yet. Somebody, add like terms in the numerator. Add like terms in the numerator. This is all freshman algebra, fellas. That's why this should go pretty quick. Add like terms in the numerator. Jack. 4 plus square root of 3 plus square root of 3 is 2 square root of 3 over negative 2. Now come on, let's see how smart you are here. That's not done yet. What's the last thing you could do? And then you have it reduced as far as it can go. There's one more thing you can do there. Adam.
You can reduce this one to negative 2.
And that's it?
Yeah.
No, that's a bad mistake. Pay attention. You'd be canceling terms, and that's a no-no in algebra. You can't do a term with a term. But what can you do? Look. You can't do what you said, just do this with this. But what can you do? Because that answer that's on the board, doesn't it have 3 parts to it? You know what I mean when I say 3 parts? Look, there's a part, there's a part, there's a part. So what can I do? Because it works with all the parts. That was a hint. Chris?
They're all divisible by 2.
They're all divisible by 2. I mean, don't you remember when I showed you this during proving identities? Here. Remember if you had something like that? If you have something like that, isn't this divided by this plus that? That's equal, right? Well, look. 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. What's 2 square root of 3 divided by negative 2? Just watch your signs. It's 2 square root of 3 divided by negative 2. Ethan.
Negative square root of 3.
You can't do anything to that, but notice the answer has no more fraction. Notice the answer has no more radical on the bottom. Now, take your iPad out. I hope you were listening, especially on that last one. Take your iPad out. Let me explain the directions to this homework. I want you to go to page 2. Oh, you know what? Do this first, fellas, because you're going to need all this. Everyone, take a picture of that over there right now. Let's get that out of the way first. You're going to want to take a snapshot of that. Take a picture of that. And then go to page 202 in your book. And then take out a good piece of paper. You're going to start to do a few of these. Take a good sheet of paper out, go to page 202 in your book. Joe, you're going to have to get the first 2 examples from John. He's got it. Example 1 and example 2. Now go to your book. Let me explain before you start here. Page 202. Now, do you see what I'm doing here? Go to page 202. It says use identities. Well, I rather use the word formulas because these are trig formulas. Use formulas to find each exact value. Do not use a calculator. There's no calculator involved here. Number 5, 6, and 7. Now, do you see what I put on the board? You understand what I'm giving you there? I mean, in number 5, it says find the cosine of 75. Well, the 75, you're going to write it 45 plus 30. I'm telling you how to break it down. And then for the negative 15 in number 6, that's 30 minus 45. And then in number 7 for the 105, that's 60 plus 45. So there's 3 problems there. And they all happen to be cosine. So those first 3, you're going to get those done like right now. All you got to do in those first 3 problems is what? What's your first step again? I did 2 of them for you today. When you do 5, 6, and 7, what's the first thing you're going to start putting on your paper?
You're gonna be plugging in for U and V?
You're going to be putting in those angles for U and V, and then you're going to plug in all the answers and then just reduce it. And remember the answers? What was this? I think it was this. Remember the first one, the answers looked like that? Don't be surprised if when you do these, the answers look very, very similar to that. The only thing is, you know, that might be a minus, or that might be a minus. So it's a different answer, but you're going to see them same similar numbers showing up. All right, flip to page 209. Let me explain so you don't have questions. Go to 209. 3, 4, 5, and 8. Now look, you got to work it out anyway. You see how it says match? Well, forget that. I just want you to use number 3, 4, 5, and 8 and find the answer. Now, is your answer going to be one of those things you see there? Yeah, but I'm not doing it as a matching problem. You still got to plug in and work it out. So you see all those answers there? You see capital A and capital B and capital C, don't they all look very similar? But they're not the same, because you see how some of the signs are different? But they look the same. Look at D, E, and F. Don't those all look similar? But again, you see how some are positive and some are negative? Like the one we just did here? So again, I'm telling you how to break those down too. Now I only have one more thing to ask you. You see that last column you're going to do, number 8? You see the U and the V? They're negative angles. So, just listen to me. The U and the V are negative angles. If you had to find the sine of negative 60 degrees, God, I certainly hope you guys haven't forgotten this. You know all the rules for positives and negatives, right? You know, all sine, tan, cos law. Isn't the sine of 60 the radical 3 over 2? I mean, special angle. Sine of negative 60, though. What quadrant are you in for negative 60 degrees? Now, this is stuff and trig you should never forget. Every time I make a statement like that, a lot of people are going, what? What quadrant is negative 60 degrees in? It's in the 4th, isn't it? Don't negative angles go the other way? So what in the sine of negative 60 degrees? Is it a positive answer or a negative answer? Andrew, it's a negative answer, isn't it? Because it's in the 4th quadrant. The point I'm trying to make is the sine of negative 60 degrees would be negative radical 3 over 2. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's going to come up when you do number 8, because the U and the V are both negative. All the other ones, you won't have to worry about that. Who has a question? Andrew. You may.